At the risk of sounding super duper philosophical, autumn always gets me thinking. It gets me thinking about the ideas of change, of making space for new things by letting go of old things, of focusing less on growth and more on nurturing, and slowing down after a busy stretch. So if you watched my last video, you'll know we chatted about 3 ways to settle in for a cozy and creative season. Every tip was carefully crafted to help you prepare for stepping into a season of slowness and intentionality. In truth, this video was supposed to be as much a tool for me as it was for you. Because the truth is, I have a really hard time slowing down. But when our lives and our creative practices are knitted together with these cords of hurry and hustle, nervous energy, and quick turnarounds, the joy very quickly gets lost. We forget to stop and admire the beautiful leaves on our morning walks because we feel so rushed to get to work soon. We forget to enjoy beautiful brushstrokes because we're already 4 days past the painting deadline. We forget to find beauty in the simplicity of today because we're too busy looking forward to tomorrow. Now, I don't know about you, but this joyless, rushed existence, it's not the vibe for me. I want to live and create with intention and joy and peace, not hurry, anxiety, and a desire to move on to the next big project. That is not the life I want to live. I want to find joy in the everyday moments and the magic in the mundane, and to embrace a slowness as a beautiful and necessary pace. And if that sounds like you too, stay tuned because we're going to be walking through 3 ways to actually implement slowness into our lives and our creative practices. So I'm coming at this from the perspective of a painter, a writer, a videographer, but I want you to know that these tips are absolutely applicable to any kind of creative practice you have, whether you're a cupcake decorator, or a poet, or a photographer, or what have you. While we chat, I'll be painting this cozy little scene of the Marquee Meadows Schoolhouse. And if you like how this piece turns out, it is available for pre-order in my shop. So without further ado, how can we embrace slow creativity? Number 1, let go of the deadlines. Now, I'm not knocking deadlines. In fact, I think they can actually be a very good tool. Deadlines keep us accountable, they keep us on task, they keep us moving the needle forward. But all too often, I think we place deadlines on things that don't actually need them. And not just that they don't need them, the deadline actually damages them. The truth is, I have a lot of deadlines in my creative career. From book launches to content creation to print production, these all have a very big, very red deadline written on them. But I realized I've been putting those deadlines on my paintings too. And you know what? It really sucks the joy out of the painting process. Many of my Marquee Meadow paintings over the past couple of years take me about a week to complete from the time the brush first touches the paper. But I realized these paintings don't each necessarily take that long. I make them take that long. Even the most detailed and involved paintings, I cram into 1 week because
that's just the way I've always done it.
I've been unwittingly enforcing a very unnecessary 1-week deadline on basically all of my paintings. And these deadlines were damaging in more than one way. For illustrations that needed longer, I beat myself up from taking longer because
I must just be procrastinating or not focusing well, or I'm losing my painting skills
or something. Or I still shoved it into the 1-week deadline and came out with something that was kind of half-baked and I didn't even really get to enjoy making it. But on the other side of things, not every painting needs as much time put into it. But because I had it in my mind that I spend a week on every single painting, I would either make it stretch to fit an entire week and really end up just wasting a bunch of time not making any real improvements to the painting. Or I would beat myself up about not taking the full week because
obviously I was just too lazy to put in my full effort because there's no way a painting with a shorter time frame could possibly be as good of quality.
And if you're thinking, wow, this girl really needs to work through some mindset problems, you are absolutely right, and I am very much trying. So when I came to my latest Marquee Meadow illustration, the little schoolhouse you're seeing here, I decided to let that deadline go. I committed myself to letting the project take however long it took and to trust that it would be okay. And you know what? The world didn't end because I spent 2 weeks on it instead of 1. Not only was the painting better for it, but I was better for it. I didn't feel crushed by this looming deadline. I felt that I truly had space and time to make something beautiful. And that was a really good feeling that ended up impacting every single moment of the process. But we'll get into that. I want you to ask yourself if you've been enforcing unnecessary deadlines on your creativity. Now, I'm not talking about external deadlines like pet portrait commissions or cupcake orders or whatnot. I'm talking about deadlines you're setting on your own personal creative projects that are more harmful than helpful. When a deadline is causing you to not give a project your best effort or hindering you from actually enjoying your creativity, it is not worth it. Yeah, it might keep you accountable in growing your creative skills or producing a new work, but it's killing your creative spirit. With every project deadline, you might be a more proficient creative or prolific creative, but you're also becoming a creative that hates creating. I truly believe that the creative practice is a long game. It's a lifetime game. I want you to grow a creative practice that you're not just good at, but that you love, that you can continue to love. A creative practice that's sustainable for an entire lifetime. And to do that, we need to let go of the unnecessary deadlines that are stifling our creative spirit. Number 2, let yourself get lost in the process. Now, I'm not talking lost as in,
Dude, I have no idea what I'm doing and I don't even know where to start.
I'm talking lost as in,
Oh, it's been 2 hours since the music turned off and I didn't even realize because I was so in the zone.
So like I mentioned earlier, without a deadline on this painting, I felt so free to explore wherever it led, however long it took. I didn't feel rushed to complete it so quickly. And because I didn't feel rushed, I let myself really sit with the painting and find the fun in every little detail. Y'all know I love painting props, but oftentimes I rush through them to get to the quote-unquote important stuff. The big storytelling parts like the characters and such. But this time, I let everything be important. Not important to the illustration. After all, if everything is a focal point, then nothing is a focal point. But I let every single thing be important to me. I wanted to pour my love into every single brushstroke of this painting and really take my time to not only do my best, but to love the process. After all, a technically good piece doesn't really mean anything if you didn't love the process of making it. Every day, I would sit down at my desk, set my eyes and brush on a new part of the painting, and just pour myself into carefully rendering out every single element. And that took a long, long time. I honestly cannot even remember the last time I spent this long on a painting. I think this one took me about 24, 25 hours from start to finish. I spent about 40 minutes on the yarn ball drawer alone. And you know what? That is one of my absolute favorite parts of the painting. Not just because I think it turned out nicely, but because I remember just how much fun I had painting this little element. Carefully choosing the colors to fit with the overall color scheme, learning how to paint purple without having any blue on my palette, choosing which yarn balls to add more detailing to, and which ones to let fade into the background. I also spent loads of time on the herb garden, carefully choosing which herbs I wanted to include, and observing reference photos to understand how the leaves grow and group together, and detailing all of these little special leaves and sprigs. Does anyone else care if I painted a basil plant specifically, or if it was an herb of ambiguous variety? No, probably not. But I care. As I'm talking about this, I'm kind of having a little bit of a mind-blown moment, genuinely wondering when it stopped mattering so much to me whether I care about an element or not. When did I make that shift in my brain of, well, this detail isn't going to be noticeable to anybody else, so it's not worth it to include it in the painting. But maybe that unnoticeable detail was the thing I was most excited to paint, and I chose not to because I let what I thought of the painting or my joy in the painting process matter less than what other people thought of it. Wow. There's a lot to unpack there. We're getting off topic. Let's workshop this another time. So the joy of the process wasn't the only thing influenced by implementing a slower pace. My level of effort also improved. I really took the time to put my best into each element. Was it exhausting at times? Yes. Did I want to give up sometimes? Absolutely. That's usually when I put my paints away and go for a walk with Annie Jane. The reality is, not every part of the process is gonna be the most fun thing, but when we love our creativity as a whole, we wanna put our best effort into it. We wanna push through the uncomfy parts. Painting that circular bookshelf was not exactly fun all the time because perspective is the actual spawn of Satan, but I still tried to find joy where I could and still put my best effort into it, even when it was hard. Sometimes this also meant repainting an element that didn't turn out the way I originally wanted it to. For example, towards the end, I realized that the teacher she wasn't what I wanted her to be, and at that point, I had a choice to make. I could let my feelings go for the sake of saving some time, or I could spend another 40 minutes repainting her to be what I actually wanted her to be. So that's what I did. I chose to slow down. I repainted the things that I didn't like. I didn't rush through the uncomfy parts. I trusted that the slower pace and the longer time frame would be worth it to create something that I was truly proud of. The point is, I want you to give yourself the space and time to get lost in the process. To be so in the zone that you spend an hour playing the exact same chord pattern over and over because it gives you goosebumps every single time. That you go down a rabbit hole of photographing close-ups of leaves because you're just so enamored by how beautifully unique every single one of them is. To sit through the uncomfy moments and to trust that your effort is not a waste. I want you to ask yourself if you've been rushing through the process, if you've really been enjoying your creative practice, if you're exploring the unexpected paths to see where they take you. As creatives, joy and exploration are so crucial, but we have to go at a pace that's conducive to both. And number 3, take on bigger projects. There's no doubt that bite-sized pieces of our creative practice are so important. The quick batch of cookies, the 5-minute doodle, the quick and chaotic journal spreads. Whether it's because we truly don't have time or truly don't have much creative energy, these smaller parts of our practice most definitely have their place. But I think, if we're honest, sometimes we reach for the low-hanging fruit a little too often. Sometimes it's pure laziness. Sometimes it's wanting a quick win. Sometimes it's intimidation to start something bigger. And sometimes it's because we've gaslit ourselves into thinking that we really just don't have time for it. But I think we're really letting ourselves down by not taking on bigger, longer projects. We're robbing ourselves of the joy of making something potentially more substantial. Don't get me wrong, bigger is not necessarily better. I'm not saying that smaller, quicker projects can't be fruitful too. But I want you to ask yourself if you're choosing the smaller projects because you truly love them, or because you're afraid of the effort that a bigger project might take. So lately, I've been classifying my YouTube videos as big projects, really slowing down and taking my time on them. Researching videography, implementing new editing elements, compiling shot lists that truly help communicate the message I'm sharing. I don't want to write mindless, rambly scripts. I want to write something that actually speaks to you. I don't want the editing to be an afterthought. I want it to be engaging and funny, to be an experience for you, and to be a form of art in and of itself. I'm not gonna lie, there are still times when the quick and easy low production videos do sound a little bit more appealing, but these big project videos are something I'm truly proud of. I'm truly enjoying learning about video creation and implementing what I learn. I'm loving the process of shooting B-roll and editing my shots to hit some of the beats of the music. And it's not low effort by any means. It's a very slow and steady process to craft these videos, but I've never had more fun making them. So I want you to ask yourself, what bigger, slower project have you been avoiding? And what's holding you back from it? I want you to slow down and take it on. I'm not saying that quick creativity is bad or shouldn't be a part of your practice. Not everything I do is gonna be a big project. I'm still gonna make the messy journal spreads and paint the quick mini floral paintings, have the 5-minute ukulele jam sessions. I'm still gonna make the 10-hour paintings and the 25-hour paintings. The point is, we need to give ourselves space to explore something bigger, something longer. To not let the time and effort a big project requires to hold us back from exploring what it has to offer. I want to encourage you to embrace a little bit more slowness in your creative practice this season. Whether that's by letting go of deadlines, taking on bigger projects, letting yourself get lost in the process, or something else entirely, I want you to give yourself permission to embrace slow creativity and to truly find joy in the process. Don't let the hurry and hustle hold you back from creating what you love. Anywho, thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed chatting with me about embracing slow creativity and watching me paint this cozy little schoolhouse illustration. If you like how this piece turned out and need those cozy and curious vibes in your life, there's a link in the description to pre-order a print of it. And don't worry, I've also got some big ol' prints for my fellow art maximalists out there too. Huge thank you to the cozy and curious creatives over on Patreon for helping to support my art journey. If you're interested in another Meraki Meadow painting session, then head on over to watch this video next. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.